So, dear students, this class is for all the students who are not able to take the normal classes due to this lockdown. So, basically, I'll be teaching you with your physical chemistry of class 12, and today we shall start with the topic chemical kinetics. So, the topic we shall discuss today is about your chemical kinetics. So, as far as class 12 is concerned, so this is a major topic and it has a weightage of around 5 marks. Okay, so it's an easy topic, so we'll discuss from the beginning. So actually, what is chemical kinetics and what do we study in chemical kinetics? Okay, so basically chemical reactions can be classified into three categories. Okay, so what are the three classes of chemical reactions? So one type of reaction is which occurs very slowly. Fine. The other reaction is that which occurs very quickly, say about in a fraction of a second. And there are some reaction which occurs at a moderate rate. So depending upon the time taken, your chemical reactions, okay, depending upon the time taken, your chemical reactions can be classified into three categories. So what are the three categories? So number one is your very fast reaction. So number one is a very fast reaction. Okay, so very fast reaction. How fast do they take place? So occur, they occur in a fraction of second. Okay, so they are really difficult to measure because the time taken for the reaction to complete is very small. So as for example, most of the ionic reactions come under this category. Okay, so you have noticed this in your lab. If you add a drop of silver nitrate reagent to hydrochloric acid, as soon as you add silver nitrate to hydrochloric acid, what do you get? You'll get a curdy white PPT of silver chloride. You'll get a curdy white PPT of silver chloride. So this reactions comes under this category of very fast reactions. Okay, so this reaction occurs very quickly in a fraction of a second. So there are ample of other examples as well. Okay, so at the other extreme, we have very slow reactions. We have very slow reactions. We have very slow reactions. How slow? So this type of reaction may take days, it may take months, okay, or it may take years as well. So what is the example which comes to our mind? Yes, very famous example. For example, rusting of iron. So this is again a chemical reaction. Rusting of iron. Rusting of iron. So we know we have studied in junior classes. Okay, for iron to rust, what are the other chemicals required? Okay, so rusting of iron, it occurs in presence of oxygen and moisture. And we have noticed that, okay, so the iron, it takes months or it may take years also, depending upon the purity of iron. So this is the class of reaction which occurs very slowly. Now, in between these two extremes, we have another class of reactions which are known as here moderate reactions. Okay, moderate reaction means they occur neither too quickly nor too slowly. They occur at a normal place and we can measure the rate of such reactions. So most of the reactions which we know comes under this category of moderate reactions. Okay, for example, hydrolysis of sucrose and many other organic and inorganic reactions comes under this category. Right? So this is just an overview. Okay, I'm just trying to explain you the types of reactions based upon the time taken, Now, in chemical kinetics, okay, we shall be studying about the rate of reactions. We shall be studying about the rate of reactions, meaning how fast or how slow a reaction takes place. And we shall also be discussing, okay, about how we can measure experimentally the speed of a reactions. How we can measure experimentally the speed of a reaction. Fine. So now let us try to define a rate of a reaction. Let us try to define a rate of a reaction. Okay. So let us try to define a rate of a reaction. So yes, what do you mean by a rate of a reaction? Rate of a reaction. Okay. Rate of a reaction means obviously the speed with which a reaction takes place. The speed with which a reaction takes place. Now the big question which comes to our mind is that how can we measure the rate of a reaction? Okay, how do we measure experimentally the rate of a reaction? Fine. Now we know. Let us take a very simple example of a chemical reaction. Say suppose we have a reactant, fine, and this is undergoing a chemical change and giving us B, which is the product. So I have taken a very simple reactant, I have assumed it to be A, which reacts to give you product B. Now, as the reaction proceeds, as the reaction takes place, as the reaction occurs, we know there will be a change in concentration of both the reactants and the products. Fine. Now, before reaction is taking place, suppose you are carrying out a chemical reaction in a beaker. Before the reaction takes place, what will be present in the beaker? Only the reactants will be present. Fine. And so what will be the concentration of product? Obviously, it will be zero. Okay. Initially, before the reaction has started, we find only reactant in the reaction vessel. No products will be formed. Now, as the reaction occurs, as the reaction takes place, what will happen? The reactants are slowly consumed and it will be converted into product. The reactant slowly convert itself into the product. So, in terms of concentration, we can say when a reaction occurs, when a reaction takes place, the concentration of the reactant decreases, slowly it decreases as it is getting converted into product, and simultaneously, since the products are being formed, the concentration of the product gradually increases. The concentration of the product gradually increases. So we can say that during a chemical reaction, there is a change in concentration of reactant as well as product. How does it change once more? The concentration of the reactant gradually decreases because it is converted into product, and the concentration of the product gradually increases. Fine. Now we can depict this graphically as well. Okay, we can depict this graphically as well. So here, students, I'm going to plot. Here I'm going to plot concentration in the y-axis versus time along the x-axis. Fine. Now what did we just say? As the reaction proceeds, as time passes by, the concentration of the reactant is gradually decreasing. Okay. So initially the concentration of the reactant is high, but as time passes by, the concentration of the reactant gradually decreases. So this graph is for a reactant. This graph is for a reactant. Fine. And before the start of the reaction, the concentration of the product will be zero. But as time passes by, the concentration of the product will gradually increase. So this will be the nature of graph of the product. This is the nature of the graph of the product. So the things which we have discussed, I have just depicted it graphically. Fine. This is how the concentration changes. So in this particular chapter, okay, by measuring the change in concentration, we can measure the rate of a reaction. So what will be the formula for calculating the rate of a reaction in terms of concentration? Let us write it. Okay. So we can say that the rate of a reaction is equal to a change is equal to change in concentration of what? Change in concentration of either reactant or product. Okay, change in concentration of reactant or product divided by, so yes, divided by, since we are measuring the rate, okay, so yes, divided by a time taken for the change, divided by time taken for the change. So this will be my formula for measuring the rate of a reaction. Now we can express this rate of a reaction in terms of change of concentration of reactant as well as in terms of change of concentration of product. Now, what is going to be the formula in terms of reactant? So, the concentration of the reactant is decreasing. So, we say rate of a reaction will be decrease in concentration of reactant, decrease in concentration of reactant divided by time taken, divided by the time taken. Fine. So, this is in terms of your reactant. This is in terms of your reactant. Now, yes, you yourself can derive the formula for rate in terms of concentration of product. So, what is going to happen to the concentration of product? It's increasing. Yes, so the formula is going to be increase in concentration of product, increase in concentration of product divided by, again, time taken. So, now with the help of these formulas, we can measure the rate of a reaction. With the help of these formulas, we can measure the rate of a reaction. Fine. So, in terms of reactant, rate of a reaction will be decrease in concentration of reactant. In terms of product, the formula will be increase in concentration of the product. Fine. And these concentration terms are normally written in square brackets. And what is the unit of concentration? Yes, students. So concentrations we usually measure in molarity and molality. So the units of concentration will be taking either molarity, mole per liter, or in terms of molality, it will be mole per kg. This is in terms of molarity, capital M, and this is in terms of molality, small m. Okay, so these topics have been dealt in class 11 itself. So I'm not going to again go through these topics. Fine. Now, again, let us come back to the same general reaction. Okay, let us come back to the same general reaction. Say, again, I have a reactant A, okay, which is undergoing a change and giving us product B. Okay. Now, suppose A1 is the initial concentration of reactant. A1 is the initial concentration of reactant. Fine. And after some time, say the concentration of the reactant, it decreases to A2. Suppose I have taken A2 as the final concentration of reactant. Fine. So I've assumed A1 to be the initial concentration of reactant, and I have assumed A2 to be the final concentration of reactant. So what is the change in concentration? The change is denoted by delta A. So I'll be discussing about the significance of these terms in the latter segment. For the time being, remember delta A measures the change in concentration. So delta A obviously would be, it is equal to the difference in final concentration minus your initial concentration. So there is a change in concentration. Now, apart from this, what else do we require? We require the time taken for the concentration of reactant to change from A1 to A2. Suppose the time taken is delta T. So this is the time taken for the change. So this is the time taken for the change. Okay, so it's a delta T is 10 seconds. So in 10 seconds, the concentration of the reactant changes from initial value A1 to final value A2. So what will be the rate of a reaction in terms of concentration of reactant? So rate will be equal to, so what is the change in concentration? A2 minus A1 divided by delta T. Or this difference I can write it as delta A by delta T. So this will be the formula for calculating the rate of a reaction in terms of concentration of reactant. Okay. Now see, in this reaction, I have assumed A2 to be the final concentration of reactant, which obviously will be less than the initial concentration. So remember students, the concentration of the reactants gradually decreases with time. It will gradually decrease with time. So in case of reactant, the final concentration will always be less than the initial concentration. The final concentration, so in case of reactant, I can say the final concentration will always be less than the initial concentration, because again we know the concentration of the reactants decreases with time, right? So out here A2 is less than A1. Out here the final concentration of reactant is less than the initial concentration, simply because of the fact that the concentration of the reactant gradually decreases. So what will be the sign of this? What will be the sign of delta A? Obviously, if A2 is less than A1, the sign of delta A will be negative. The sign of delta A will be negative. So, in the formula of rate, since delta A is negative, okay, rate comes out to be negative. Delta A is negative, so rate negative. So, think, can rate be negative? So, I'll give you a simple example. Say, if the reaction does not occur, a reaction does not take place at all. Okay, if a reaction does not take place at all, what will be the rate of that reaction? What will be our answer? Yes, our answer is going to be 0. If a reaction does not take place at all, the rate of that reaction is going to be 0. So think, can rate be negative? The answer is no. Rate of a reaction can never be negative. It's an absurd. Just like negative length, negative mass. Okay. Negative rate is not possible. Rate can be 0. Rate can be 0. Okay, fine. If a reaction does not take place, rate we can assume it to be 0. But negative rate, it is absurd. It is meaningless. Fine. Now, but here again I am telling you delta is coming out to be negative, but negative rate is not possible. So this quantity itself, delta A itself, is a negative quantity. Fine. But rate cannot be negative. Eh? Rate can never be negative. So in order to make rate a positive quantity, what do? We place a negative sign out here, so that the product of two negative quantities becomes a positive quantity. So what is the significance of this negative sign? We do not place a negative sign out here because delta A is negative. Why do we place a negative sign then? Since delta A is negative, in order to make rate a positive quantity, we place a negative sign before the expression. So remember, whenever you express the rate in terms of concentration of reactant, we have to place a negative sign. So the final equation will be minus delta A by delta T. So I've explained here the significance of negative sign. So why do we place a negative sign? Because if we don't place a negative sign, the value of rate will be negative, and rate cannot be negative. So in order to make rate a positive quantity, what do? We simply place a negative sign out. Is it clear? Okay. So whenever we express the rate in terms of concentration of reactant, what do? We place a negative sign. So for this particular reaction, the rate of reaction in terms of concentration of reactant will be minus delta A by delta T. So what is delta A? Change in concentration of reactant. And what is delta T? Time taken for that change. Now, the obvious question which comes to our mind is, how do we express the rate in terms of concentration of product? Since the concentration of product is also changing simultaneously, how do we express the rate in terms of concentration of product? Fine. So let us discuss that thing. So I'll consider the same reaction. So here, what will I do now? I'll assume B1 to be the initial concentration of product. Okay, initial concentration of product. And I'll assume here B2 to be the final concentration of product. So now, what can you say about the product? Initially, the concentration of the product will be 0. It will be less. But as time passes by, more and more products will be formed. That means the concentration of the product will gradually increase. That means in case of product, the final concentration will always be greater than the initial concentration, because the concentration of products will gradually increase, unlike that of reactor. It's just the opposite. So now, how will you express the change in concentration of product? Obviously, it will be expressed by delta B. What is delta B? It is equal to the final concentration minus here initial concentration. Okay, and remember in this case, the final concentration of product will be, yes, smaller or greater, will be greater than the initial concentration. Okay, in case of product, the final concentration will be greater than the initial concentration, because the concentration of products will increase. Again, delta T, I assume it to be the time taken for the change. Now, since B2 is greater than B1, since the final concentration of product is always greater than the initial concentration, so yes, tell me, what will be the sign of delta B? Is it going to be negative? No, it's going to be positive out here, since B2 is greater than B1. Now, again, how do we express the rate now? Change in concentration of the product. So what is the change in concentration of product? What will be the change in concentration of product? The change in concentration of product will be B2 minus B1. And remember, B2 minus B1, which is denoted by delta B, it's a positive quantity. So here I can write down delta B by delta T. So what is the sign of delta B out here? The sign of delta B is positive. The sign of delta B is positive. So do you think I need to place a negative sign? No, because delta B is itself a positive quantity. So I don't need to place any negative sign out here. Okay. So either you can place a positive sign or you can keep as it is. So it's understood we have a positive sign out. So we learned in this topic that the rate of a reaction can be expressed in terms of either concentration of reactant or in terms of concentration of product. So whenever you express the rate in terms of concentration of reactant, we have to place a negative sign before the rate expression. And in terms of product, you have to place a positive sign. Fine. So from this segment, we can expect some question at the board level. Okay. So to conclude with, how can I express the rate of a reaction now in terms of A? So rate of a reaction will be minus, in terms of reactant, it will be change in concentration of reactant divided by time taken for the change. And in terms of product, B, change in concentration of the product, increase in concentration of product divided by time taken for the change. So this is how we can express the rate of a reaction in terms of concentration of the reactant and product. Okay. Now you tell me, what are going to be the units of rate? What will be the units of rate of a reaction? What will be the units of rate? What are going to be the units of rate of a reaction? Okay. So concentration divided by time. So rate is actually concentration divided by time. So rate is actually equal to change in concentration divided by a time taken. Now what is the unit of concentration? The unit of concentration is moles per liter. Fine. And if I measure the time taken in second, time taken will be in second. So what is going to be the units of rate of a reaction then? Yes, the rate of a reaction is mole per liter per second. So this is the unit of rate of a reaction. Okay, this will be the unit of rate of a reaction. So hope it is understood how we simply can express the rate of a reaction in terms of concentration of reactant and in terms of concentration of product. Fine. Now, I'll give you another reaction. Say suppose I give you another reactions. So again, I'm giving you a hypothetical reaction. Say we have P reactant and it is giving you product say Q. Okay, so we have a reactant denoted by P and say suppose it is giving us product Q. So what will be the rate of a reaction in terms of reactant now? So it will be minus delta P. So what does this delta P denote? Change in concentration of reactant divided by delta T. Now in terms of concentration of product, it will be plus delta Q divided by delta T. Increase in concentration of product divided by time. So in terms of reactant, we have to place a negative sign. And in terms of product, we don't need to place a negative.